Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Sorry, I had an appointment today that I couldn't get out of, and I had to push the chat back. We are starting chats at the normal time on Friday. I do apologize for the last few times being a little bit late. There's so much happening in the crypto space right now. I'm going to give you a complete update on what is going on. We have so much happening, man. The market is popping off. I was just looking at a project that I had posted in Kryptonaires like a week or two ago. It's done a 10x. And so I'm just trying to figure out, man, I'm up 20 something $1,000 on this play, and I'm trying to figure out what I should do here. So we're going to talk about that. I got updates. I'm actually bringing the founder of Meta inside. He is going to be joining me on Friday. That's going to be a really cool interview, followed by a bunch of news and information. But love to see all you guys. I know Ariana's been here. Curtis has been here early. I do apologize for being late. My bad, guys. Christopher, great to see you. Richard, always a pleasure, my friend. How's it going? Chipper, great to see you. Paul, what's up, Paul? Great to see you, man. What's up, William? Keith in the house. Keep up your great investigative skills. I appreciate you, Keith. Thank you, man. Shalom, y'all. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, Jonathan B? Spencer says, howdy. What's up, howdy? What's up, Spencer? What's up, howdy? What the heck? Oh, man. All right. If you can, guys, if you're going to get, if you like this chat and you get value, there's a ways that you can like the chat. If you want to retweet the chat out on social media, that would be incredible. Let's go ahead and get into news. Let's get you updated. What's going on in the crypto space. First, let me show you this. Woo! You see this chart? Let me show you this. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's called some fresh wins in the Kryptonaires community. All right. So hold on. I got to show you this, man, because, if I didn't show you this, you probably wouldn't believe me. So let me go ahead and just pull this up really quickly. And I told you this, and I brought this up in Sensei chat a few weeks ago when I originally talked about this. So let me just go in here real quick. I'm looking, of course, for Ori. Let's go ahead and pull this up. As you can see, I've been tweeting about it all along here. Here is my first post about Ori. So this was, I posted this. Oh, wait, this is passing 500K. No, I posted before this. I posted this one. So this is posted. It was 380,000 market cap when I posted this. 818 in 8 days. In 8 days, this is up 1,000%. 1,000%. Wow. Like that's a big win. That is a big win for people who followed me into this one. This thing is still going. It's up 219%, 3.7 million right now. Let me show you this. You wouldn't believe it unless I showed it to you. Hold on. Let me refresh this. Holy shoot. Look at this, man. Look at this. This is a thing of beauty. This is what you try to do in the crypto space. There it is. Look at that. Profit. 1,660% profit. I bought this, and by the time I had posted it in Kryptonaires, it had already gone up like double. But this is my current win. Value right now is 25,000. I've already sold 30% of this to take profit and my initial out. So this is all profit. Do I take it out right now? Do I just cash in this 25,000, or do I let it ride? I'm going to have to figure all this out during this chat, but man, I'm just really stoked. I know there's some people in Kryptonaires that followed me into this one, and they are doing really, really well right now. So love to see that. You can always, if you want to get this information before Sensei chats, guys, the only way to do it is to join my community. Like, I'm posting in there constantly about projects that I'm finding. I am inside some really inner circles right now in the crypto space, and the information that I have access to right now is just off the chain, right? If you would have put $500 in this and it went up 1,000%, that's $5,000, right? It's $100 a month. So if you want to join XRP 25 to save 25% off the first month, if you don't, all good. Let's get into the news. So BlackRock just dumped Bitcoin, millions in Bitcoin sold in the past hour. So what you're seeing right here is you're seeing transitioning out of Bitcoin and into Ethereum. Right now, institutions are understanding that there's not as much money to be made in Bitcoin this cycle as there would be going into Ethereum. So you are starting to see institutions cycle out of Bitcoin into Ethereum, something that we've been talking about a lot on this channel. I did want to jump into some other stuff here. You do have the Treasurer of the United States, Scott Bessent. He is talking about tariffs, income, and record levels. I just want to show you what those records are and how much money is being collected. Currently, right now, the U.S. government has collected $100 billion in tariffs so far in 2025. They gave some numbers of about 300 billion. I don't think you're going to be quite to get that. Even if you can get 30 billion the rest of the months to the end of the year, you're looking at about 200 to 250 billion dollars in tariff revenue. The issue in my mind here is this is kind of an added tax on Americans. They haven't seen this level of price increases in 100 years, like the level of tariffs. So I do worry about people not being able to spend as much money into the economy. If you're not spending as much money into the economy, that will, of course, hurt the economy overall. But this is the numbers and this is what we're looking at. Okay. Also, if you're wondering kind of what are the, there's some estimates here of unemployment, maybe about 500,000 jobs have been lost. We're waiting for some new economic data on that. But this is where we are right now. So I'll keep a close eye on it, of course, and I'll bring you all the updates as I have them. But just some, there's a lot of money being, kind of going out here. And I wonder at what point is it going to affect American businesses? Remember, the tariffs are often passed on to the consumer because the companies don't have, 10%, 15%, 50% profit to absorb all of these costs. Anyways, foreign treasury holdings, U.S. treasuries jumped $80 billion in June. It's a record $9.13 trillion. This is probably due to stablecoin companies, right? You're having more and more stablecoin companies needing to back those stablecoins because those are US dollars backed normally, and they are doing that with treasury bills. So this is actually very helpful to the US. Remember, it's Japan is the highest holder of US debt, then it's China and the UK. And so those three countries are not super hot on buying US debt right now. And so the stablecoin companies are coming in to save the day. This is something that we talked about months ago, right? The strategy the US government is using for crypto, and it's just kind of playing out as we expected it to play out here. I did want to show you this PPI inflation set to rise further. The Philly Fed prices paid index jumped 8 points in August to 66.8, the highest since May 2022. This index measures changes in the prices that manufacturers pay. So these are raw materials. Obviously, if the manufacturers are paying more, those costs are going to be passed on to you. So expect to pay more. These are some, kind of alarming levels, but, we're going to keep going through it. The ETF numbers have surpassed the individual stocks for the first time in history. I thought this was a cool thing to share. Number of ETFs have doubled over the last 8 years. Year to date, 640 ETFs have been launched, on track with an annual record. As a result, ETF accounts for 25% of the total universe of investment vehicles, including mutual funds, closed-end funds, and unit investment trusts. Remember, the goal here is to bring this on chain. There is some, stuff happening with the Fed and Fed chairs. Remember, they decide whether to raise or lower policy. There's been a push to get somebody named Lisa Cook out and put in somebody that Trump trusts, I guess you would say. Looks like there's maybe some things that they brought up to say that this person committed some type of, I think that they said that maybe she lied on her application to buy a house or something like that, but she was never charged and there was no charges in the case. And so we're seeing, like, is this actually what happened? We're still waiting on news and information. But the reason I'm bringing this up to you is if Trump could decide today whether to lower rates, he would lower them, he said, 300 basis points, bringing the rates down to about 1.5%. I just want to warn everybody here, in the short term, that is going to help out because people will borrow at lower cost. People can buy homes and buy cars and, pay lower debt on their credit cards and interest and all that stuff. So that will have a immediate benefit to help out everyday Americans. But when you lower rates and you're printing money, we've already seen this play out, right? We were here 5 years ago, right? 4 years ago, when we did this exact same thing. We kept rates extremely low and we printed a lot of money, and that led to record levels of inflation. I would imagine that is going to be the same playbook here. Just keep this in the forefront of your mind. It is something that I am tracking in the background. there's some, now we're going to get into crypto and blockchain. Just wanted to get through the economic stuff because I know, some of you are paying close attention to that. And some of you maybe are not knowing to pay close attention to that. So I hope this helps you understand what I'm looking at every single day to get an idea of where these markets are headed. But earlier this year, the Trump administration suggested moving much of the US operations onto blockchain. We actually saw this play out in a meeting. Here's a 25-second clip. Them talking about moving some of the statistics and information that the government has and collects onto blockchain. Let me play this real quick.
Two more things. The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government. So all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it.
Okay, so what you're hearing here is they're ironing out details to move a lot of this government data onto blockchain. Now, if it's the U.S. government, so the U.S. government is probably going to choose a company that is an American company. I'd imagine when it comes to data, the company that comes to my mind right off the bat is Chainlink. I don't know what you guys are thinking on that, but like if we're talking about payments and settlement and things like that, obviously XRP Ledger would be perfect, but we're talking about data. Connecting legacy systems to new rails, I would imagine that would involve Chainlink. That's just my personal view. There's been no direct confirmation one way or another, but never know. What are we talking about here? This channel keeps me sober. Cheers to the future. Listen, some of the data is great. Some of the data worries me. And, regardless of, who you are or your background or where you're from, I am always going to tell you what's on my mind and how I feel, whether you like it or not. This is who I am. And this is the information. This is what worries me. And so, I hope you get value from that. I really do. So I appreciate you. Oh, it's okay, man. Great to see you. What's up? What's up? Yeah. So, dude, just really quickly talking about wallets. My goodness. I guess this is kind of the channel has been, very successful. The YouTube channel. A lot of people are watching and paying attention. And so over the last 2 weeks, I've had Ledger, Decent, and IllyPal all reach out to me. And since we talk about those three wallets the most on this channel, I'm going to be partnering with those three companies to bring discounts to members who are interested in getting some type of cold wallet. So news and information and stuff will follow here over the next week or two as we get this all set up. But all three of those, Decent, Ledger, and IllyPal, I will be entering a partnership to give a lower discounted cost to people who follow the channel. All right. Aloha. What's up, my man? Does XDC do data? They might, but it's a Singapore-based country. It's a Singapore-based crypto. They're not going to use Zinfin, right? I know Zinfin's trying to come to America and this and that, but it's a Singapore-based. They're not gonna use that, dude. You got to think like this is the government's. Some of this data will be public, but some of this data they probably are not going to make public. So you'd want something that. If something happened, right, the U.S. government could send somebody to your front door, kick it in, and put you in a room, find out what happened. It'd be difficult to do that if they're out of the country. So I would imagine it's probably Chainlink, but I could be totally wrong. But when I hear him talking, and I think of data, I think of Chainlink. So we'll see what happens there. We'll definitely see what happens. I could be wrong on that. We'll see. Paul Atkins, my man's up here. This is from Real All In Crypto. SEC Chair Paul Atkins, Project Crypto will accelerate the U.S.'s adoption of crypto and digital assets throughout the financial system. Let's go ahead and play this.
Are calling Project Crypto, which will be the SEC's North Star in aiding President Trump in his historic efforts to make America the crypto capital of the world. The SEC will not stand idly by and watch innovations develop overseas while our capital markets remain stagnant. We're at the threshold of a new era in the history of our markets. As I mentioned earlier, today I'm announcing the launch of Project Crypto, a commission-wide initiative to modernize the securities rules and regulations to enable America's financial markets to move on-chain. The President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets released the PWG report with clear recommendations for the SEC and other federal agencies to build a framework to maintain U.S. dominance in crypto asset markets. This report is the blueprint to make America first in blockchain and crypto technology. We will not watch from the sidelines. We will lead, we will build, and we will ensure that the next chapter of financial innovation is written right here in America.
All right, man. Somebody find Gary Gensler and play that clip for him. He needs to understand what his job could have been, what it should have been, what he could have done for the crypto industry. That is how you do it. My goodness. Paul Atkins seems like the right person for that job, man. I am liking what this man is doing and what he is putting down. It is extremely, extremely bullish. Let's, I wanted to, man, this Ori thing is just freaking blowing my mind here. I love to see this, man. Like I in the background here, I'm just like, I'm smiling. This is why I got this, like, really, nervous energy, this hyperness, because when you see this chart, man, you're like, hell yeah. All right. What did I want to get into next here? Oh man. Yes. Here, look. So Bo Hines, if you remember, Bo Hines was like the president's, what was he in charge of? The digital assets in America or whatever. He made a lot of promises about the crypto industry, delivered on the regulation promise. Okay. And that really wasn't him, right? That was Republicans in Congress and Democrats crossing the aisle to vote with Republicans to pass the Genius Act and work on the Clarity Act. So Bo Hines kind of promised a lot of things, and then he actually didn't deliver on a lot of it, right? I was very disappointed. I was always tweeting at Bo Hines, like, what about the American stockpile? Whatever you guys are doing to, because I remember they said that they were going to work on ways to buy Bitcoin. They were going to work on ways to do this. They were going to work on ways to do that. None of that happened, right? None of that happened. And now he's at Tether. And listen to this is just cringeworthy, man. This is cringeworthy for me. I'll play it. You tell me how you feel.
This truly is a global opportunity and global challenge that you guys are working on. How do you, Bo, final question, how do you...
Okay, this guy is the CEO of Tether. If you didn't know, this is the gentleman right here. And then Bo Hines is now working for Tether.
Keep America at the top. How do you keep America as the crypto capital in this? And I understand from what Paulo said earlier, innovation is key.
Hold on, keep America as the crypto capital. Hold on, we got to back this up, right? America wants to turn into the crypto capital, right? It's not currently the crypto capital. We don't have regulation yet, right? So it's like Europe has regulation, like Japan and all these other countries have regulation. We're still trying to figure it out. So I don't know if calling us the crypto capital is the right thing there, but all good. Let's pump these up guys up a little bit here.
And that's lighting up right now, which is amazing. How do we keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you've described it well, right? It's having innovators like Paulo here on U.S. soil building and developing here, which I know that Tether's very focused on doing. And we need more folks to onshore. We need more folks to recognize, like, look, we have the deepest capital markets in the world. This is the best place to build. This is the best place to develop. And we need to show them why. I feel like we've done a lot of the heavy lifting on the regulatory side to do so. I mean, obviously the working group, we had met for 7 months going back and forth debating like what the clearest and most robust regulatory framework might possibly look like for anywhere in the world. And I do think the product we came up with the working group's reports, probably the cleanest and most robust product that's been produced in a sense of this is what a good regulatory structure looks like. And we left some optionality up for Congress, wanting to make sure the Senate can put their fingerprints on market structure. But for the most part, this is an invitation to all innovators out there. One, welcome home to the folks who've gone offshore. And then two, with folks like Paulo and Tether and others out there building tremendous things in different environments. We want you here in the US. And I'll echo that sentiment, even being at Tether now. We want you building here. We want to work with you.
We want a company that was involved in some very shady things with Binance and other exchanges, right? To prop up Bitcoin and do all these weird things. They can't spend money on an actual audit. The last audit company they actually had to quit midway and delete every single thing that they did, right? Remember, Tether was kind of starting to put out information about the audit, like, hey, look how good we are, right? It's all clean. It's all good. And the company was like, delete. And so you start to wonder, they're making, $12 billion a year. Why can't they spend $5 or $10 million on an audit? The biggest issue with Tether and the whole crypto space is show us that you actually have the reserves to back up the 100 and whatever $80 billion in stable coins. And like, you would think if that is the biggest issue that people have against Tether, that they would comply, but they haven't yet. And you start to wonder, why haven't they done that yet? right? They have the money because they brag about how much they're going to spend. They're going to bring this company that purposely built operations offshore to avoid regulators, to avoid people checking up to see if they actually have these types of reserves and everything, right? Checking up on the security. They wanted to avoid all of that. Now they want to come back in. I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like it, man. Just got a weird feeling about this. Vandell says, we'll find out in this cycle. Different this time. I guess we'll see. Remember, when we're talking about the 4-year cycle, if we are looking at the data, the top of the last bull market for Bitcoin and Ethereum was in November. It was November 11th of 2021 was the top. So you start to wonder, are we going to look at the top is the same time here, or is the bull market going to be extended a bit? I think this is still up in the air. I will be looking around to see if the music has stopped or the light is dimming towards November and December's time to figure out if what I'll be selling, what I'll be getting out of, and then what I will be holding on to. I might just hold some of my other assets and build on that through the next market cycle in the bear market. But I will keep you updated and apprised on everything that I am doing. Bitcoin reaches 125,000, over 15.6 billion in shorts are set to be wiped out, guys. Listen, I know we all think that we are super intelligent when it comes to crypto trading and we are going to beat the markets, but you are trading against institutions with billions of dollars. If they don't like your few $1 million long or short, they will liquefy you. They will liquidate you out. So just be very careful. If you are trading leverage, seek financial advice and make sure that you don't wind up with nothing in the bag. It does look like Tom Lee is out here pushing Ethereum like it's his business, which I guess it is his business now. Here is a clip with Tom Lee. He's the BitMine chairman.
Price targets for end of year for Ethereum and the S&P 500, and your logic for those two.
Yeah, I think Ethereum, in the near term, 5,500 should be happening in the next couple of weeks. But by the end of the year, I think it should be closer to 10 to 12,000 for ETH. But it's because, most of the move in crypto does come in the fourth quarter. So if you're up 35% year to date, well, if you're going to be up 200%, it's going to all happen in the next few months. And for the S&P, if the Fed follows through and begins to cut, which is our expectation, and then we get a drop in mortgage rates and the ISM turning up, and therefore financials really begin to participate, I think that's why we get to 6,800 or so on the S&P. So still a lot of upside. Of course, as you know, September is the month everyone's going to be worried about. So that's a month where you might get a pullback, but you need to be buying debt too.
So the seasonal weakness in September, you would say, would just be another opportunity.
Yes, that's right. And as you know, every pullback, everyone has been ringing the bell saying it's the top. That has always been a dip buying opportunity since 2022. So
all right. Really quickly, let's just jump in the chat here and answer some of these questions. I did like Will Power here. He says the dude is crooked and joined the perfect company that fits. That's spicy, Will, but I like where your head is at, my dude. I really do. Me and you are thinking very close alike. I know Neil said he had a question, wondering if Neil got to ask his question. We'll try to do our best for you. If you can, give me your thoughts. I would appreciate it. What's the question there, Neil? Yeah, if you can give me a question, I would be happy to. Scott is checking in from the big island of Hawaii. Scott, how's the weather out there? I'm just kidding. I was outside just a little bit ago. It's really nice, right? It's really beautiful. Let's see. Neil, 80% of bags is XRP. Remaining 20% is split up between 5 other cryptos. What's the question, though? Oh, that's Neil's question? 80% of my bag is XRP. Remaining 20% is split up between 5 other cryptos. Is he asking like what other 5 other cryptos? Oh, right on, man. Me too, brother. Me too. What cryptos are the 5 cryptos? What are your thoughts on Gemini's XRP card? Like, okay, really quickly, let's talk about this. So, hold on, let me pull this up. The Gemini card, right? Gemini XRP card. You have to spend so much money in the first 3 months, right? It's like $3,000 in the first 3 months to start earning some of the rewards. I'd have to take a look at it, but I know there's a lot of people who are very bullish on it. Like, hold on, let me see here. I'm going to be posting something on this in the near future. Gemini reached out and wanted to see if I would make some content about the card. So I do think a lot of people are going to take advantage of the card, but any credit card comes with its own, like you have to spend so much money, you have to do this, you have to do that. But if you're going to spend the money anyway, and if you don't have another card that gives you higher returns, I think there's like Coinbase has a card and crypto.com has a card with a little bit higher. But as far as XRP, I think Gemini has the highest rewards for a credit card. Don't get me wrong. Let me see here. Let me see. Let's just see here. What are the biggest rewards for crypto credit cards? What company has the best offerings? When it comes to XRP, which company also? All right, let's get that information going here while I get into Neil's question. We're going to jump back in here. Neil, are you asking like what other 5 cryptos if should convert her H bar to Crypto Sensei? Please give me your thoughts. I have a bag of H bar. Would you convert it to XRP? So Neil, first of all, listen, I'm not a financial advisor, and so I don't always make the best decisions, right? It's just like in anything. Okay. So just let's be 100% clear on this, but I will answer your question as long as you understand it's not financial advice, right? It's always good. It's always good to have different assets, right? If you are solely in just one thing, and if the one thing doesn't work out the way you think it's going to, you're going to be like, shit, why didn't I have, other things? So I don't think it's unreasonable to have HBAR and ADA, right? And XLM and XDC. Those are some tokens that are mentioned the most, right? Chainlink. Those 5 or 6 tokens, those are, I believe, part of the new financial system. So if you have XRP, HBAR, and some of those other assets, I would imagine that you're set. I personally wouldn't just go one thing 90% or 100% of my bag. Okay. I hope that's helpful, but I do think it's good to branch out into other stuff just to have, some backup, because I think all of this is very important. And I never just want to be in one thing, because if something happens to that one thing, man, we just never know what's going to happen. And it's always good to spread it out, man, in my personal opinion. Yeah, see, like Uphold, there's like a bunch of things like people use. Let's just take a look here, because I know like when I was researching this, here, so check this out. So there are crypto.com Visa card is 8%. Coinbase card has 4%. Bitcoin. This is crypto.com, Bitcoin, ETH, etc. WireX, I've never heard of that company. I'm not going to even talk about that. But when it comes to XRP, I believe the Gemini card does have the highest rewards per credit card. There's also Bybit MasterCard here at 10%. So, take that with what you will. There is a credit card, so there are fees. You need to just look at all of that stuff. But Gemini is a good company. They've been here a long time. It looks like they are working to IPO, and I don't think the Winklevoss twins are going anywhere anytime soon. They have a good reputation in the space, and I know a lot of people are interested in that card. So, if it fits your lifestyle and what you're looking to do, I think you can answer that question yourself if you're going to use it. All right. Chipper says Neil wants to know if he should convert his HBAR to XRP. I was telling him to diversify. Yeah, I think Chipper. There's some really smart people in the chat. Chipper's one of them. Christopher. Any of the mods. Ariana. She's got a really good eye. There's a lot of really smart people in the chat. They're going to tell you to diversify. That's the best strategy, my friend. All right, let's keep going here. We got some other news, and then I will come back to your questions, guys. I just want to get through some of this important news, because I know sometimes I get lost in the questions, and we spend like an hour just going back and forth about some of the same things. Bitmine just bought 14,371 more ETH. ETH is going to go crazy. What's interesting? Like we talked about this like last year, right? Like when we're talking about where we see ETH going in this cycle, and we talked about this, right? I was very clear. I think ETH is going to 8 to 10K. And then when ETH dipped around $2,400 to $2,500, obviously that was the best time to buy. But I think you're seeing all of these different treasury companies coming out of left field, waiting for the XRP related treasury strategy companies to start putting that level of money into XRP. I think that's going to get exciting too. Yeah, I mean, Flare's good too, man. Like if you want to support the XRP ecosystem, having Flare's smart as well. Some people like SHX, right? Stronghold. There's so many guys, so many, man. Let's get into some of this Ori news, man. Ori is just gone crazy. Now I'd imagine this is going to come down a bit, right? This is 3.4 million. Let's just update this. You know, I'm so glad I didn't take profit when it went to like 1 million like 2 days ago. And I was like, man, should I take some profit? And I was like, you know what? People are coming into this. I'm like, let's just leave it. I left it. 2 million. I left it. Now we're at 3.4 million. Hell yeah. This person, you know, has been talking about Ori AI. If you're wondering what company I keep talking about, it's this one. AI powered no code on Solana. Build anything, no coding needed. So these companies where you can basically build any kind of app or product without having coding skills, some of these products get really hot really quickly. And this is what people are actively looking to invest in this space. Full transparency here though, guys, listen, when you're investing in a new DeFi project, right? And obviously it's not financial advice, but just want to make it very clear, but this is some of the mistakes that I've learned early on. Okay. When you are investing in a early stage project, okay, usually when the project launches, you have this initial burst of excitement and people are interested and that they want to buy it and they think it's going to the moon, right? But usually after the burst and all the excitement dies down, whether that's a few hours later or a day later or whatever it is, that project will come back down and it'll start trading sideways, right? And it'll get ready for the next update or the next, information to come out. But that is your best window to take some of that profit off the board. Now, if something is already launched and a few months have gone by and now it's starting to break out, that is probably the best time to be in that. If you cannot take profit on that initial rise, right? When you fall back down, you're going to be holding that for some time. Sometimes it's days, sometimes it's weeks, and sometimes it never freaking returns. All of these newer projects come with extreme risk. Please understand that. If you do not have time, if you are sitting at home and you're in the crypto space and you're able to look and make sure that you can get out if something happens, that's what you should be looking at. But if you are somebody that has a full-time job, has kids, has friends at the bar, whatever it is, and you cannot spend enough time monitoring the crypto market on some of these newer projects, you probably will lose more than you win, because sometimes they pump a few 100% very quickly. And usually that is the best time to grab some profit. On Ori, when it pumped up a few 100%, I took out my initial. When it pumped up a few 100 more percent, I took another 10% out. Now I'm holding, 70% of the bag. And, it's worth, 25 grand. So that's me taking out my initials. That's me taking my profit. And that's me now. Everything in this bag now is all profit, whether it goes back down to nothing and I take out $1,000 or I capitalize it right now and sell 50% for, 12,500, whatever I decide to do, it's all profit. So this is, something that I've learned the hard way. And, timing is always one of the hardest things in crypto, especially with new projects. You don't know what the new demand's going to look like. You don't know if that project is going to catch on, but usually if it's on Base or Solana, there's a lot of liquidity, a lot of money flowing. And this was just one of those examples. I do remember talking about this on Sensei Chat. Maybe this was last week. So hold on. If I posted this on the 18th was the first time I saw this. Let me just see what Sensei Chat this would have been. If I would have posted on the 18th, I would have brought it up on the 19th. Right? I would have talked to you in Sensei Chat on the 19th. See, now look here. Now this is starting to fall. You're down to 3 million, right? There's no floor holding this right here, right? So this is what worries me. This might come back down and start retesting some lower levels. And here's the profit taking. Here's people now taking profits. This is understandable. But man, this is pretty juicy. One of the things I wanted to show you here was if I brought this up to you on the 19th, let's just take a look here. This is the 19th. What time is this? 2200. Okay, so 19th. So 19th, right in here is probably when the Sensei Chat would have happened. If you would have just bought it in at the Sensei Chat level and you had sold the top, there's a 680% gain. Obviously, if you're in Cryptonaires and you got this, on the 18th when I originally posted on it, you are up. Yeah, this is about how much I was up, almost about 1,500%. So kind of crazy, man. Just the crypto space is filled with really good technology, guys. You just got to find it or be connected to somebody that is able to find it. And so this is the part of the reason this is pumping so hard. What's coming this week? Subdomain features goes live. Let's just make sure I'm sharing the right screen, which I am. Subdomain features goes live. Token creation with bags ready to use. DApp creation gets stronger with more utility. Incentives for token creators. We support the projects on our platform, and now fees are flowing into Ori buyback. So now the team is using money that they are making from their utility to buy back the token. This is probably adding to the price pump here. New talent joining the team. Lots of fixes behind the scenes. UI, security, speed improvements you might not see, but you will definitely feel. I think this could be even juicier, man. I you know, it's so hard, right? Do you sell now? Do you take the 25 grand off the board? Do you hold and hopefully this doubles, right? Then I'm at 50 grand. Like, this is the type of mindset now that you're thinking. But the good thing is I've taken all of my money out. I don't have any risk right now. This is all profit. If it all worked out this way, man, we would all be chilling, right? Maracas and all right. Let's see here. Don't forget to stack coins that have native passive incomes like HBAR, Cardano, Solana. Put enough in to get at least 1 coin rewards. Very smart. Thank you so much for the donation. I really, really appreciate you. Man, the intensity, right? Intensity, man. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, you know, I'm already a hyper person, right? I'm already like, woo. And then, you know, you spin on, you know, like this is not the only project that I've made money on last 10 days, right? There's Min too, right? So between Ori and Min, if you combine those two, how much like I'm up on those two projects, it's like 40 stacks, like it's 40K, maybe 45K on those two projects. So lots of excitement happening right now, especially in the community. And, you know, there's a lot of people now tweeting about us, you know, that, you know, they called it pretty early. Some of the, you know, accounts that I follow, and they're just talking about their live update. This is all fun stuff. This was also, let's just switch right now. There's some cool things happening with the XRP ledger in China and Link Logis. I don't know. I made a video. The video is going to come out tomorrow. I get into this in finer detail. Let me see if I have, yes, I do have it. Of course, I'm going to bring that research and I'm going to show you what this means for the XRP ledger. So let's just get into this really quickly. Wait, is this the right one? Oh no, hold on. This is not the right one. Hold on. Let me just pull this up. Hold on. Hold on. This is the right. Yeah, this is the right one. Okay, let me copy paste this over. All right. This is what we want to look at, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we want to look at. Okay, so deep enterprise and institutional penetration. That is a very strange word, but all good. XRP Ledger is now directly connected to 2,156 major anchor enterprises with 377 financial institutions servicing 330,000 small to medium enterprises with operations spanning 29 Chinese provinces and 27 countries globally. This roster includes some of the world's largest companies: ChemChina, China Mobile, China Railway, Costco. I don't know if it's the same Costco that we have here. China Gas and COFCO, Nike and Under Armour and Zing Mining, meaning the XRP Ledger is positioned at the heart of the major cross-border corporate trade flows. It talks about by bridging supply chain finance on the XRP Ledger. Link Logis Link Logis. I don't know how you say this, guys. I do apologize. Is tokenized real world assets like invoices and receivables. So this is what they're working on. These corporate giants enabling these assets to be settled with cross-border border using digital tokens. So the invoices and receivables turn into digital tokens that are transparently backed by physical goods and contracts and cash flows. Now, remember, who runs the Chinese government? The CCP does, right? And they want to know where their money is, right? A lot of these companies are state owned, right? China can go in and basically take over whatever it wants for the good of the country. And so, you know, there is a lot of smaller provinces and things like that. Remember when they overcounted China's population by 100 million people or more? The reason that happened is because of the smaller provinces got extra additional money from the government because they reported that the baby numbers and population numbers and all of this stuff. And so they were fudging the numbers all the way to the top to get more money, right? I don't know if some of those people are still around, but that's what happened. And so you start to look like, how is the Chinese government going to be able to make sure that there's no more fudging or no more money disappearing? Move it all to blockchain, and then they can see where every piece and every dollar is. And I mean, it's not just like in China, but think about every country being able to track everything down to the cent. That is why blockchain will be important in the years to come for governments around the world. This is something a little bit more on the I don't know what's going to happen with this one. I just want to be extremely clear. This is something that I did buy. Let me see if I can pull this up on the chat here. Apollo APL. So just full transparency here, guys. I do own this token. I don't know what's going to happen with this. This is talked about in one of these private groups that I'm in. I'm more kind of, this was a very small buy for me because it is 150K market cap or something like that. I don't have to put in a ton of money to risk to make some money here if that's what I'm going to do. And so I will see how this plays out over the next few days. But I did buy a small bag. I did update the community. It says Apollo AI. It's a virtuals AI. Let me just kind of show you this, what these guys do. AI models, ChatGPT 4, O3 Mini, DeepStack, Gemini, Perplexity, Kimi, Venice, Grok 2. And they have their link tree, and they're talking about a sneak peek, live signals, real-time entries, targets, stop loss sentiment, and confidence levels. These are the types of things that some of them work out, some of them don't. Like, you take the risk of losing everything that you put in for the chance that maybe at 5 or 10x's and you can pull that money out. Some of these more kind of degen virtuals projects, they come with extreme risk, like extreme risk. You don't know who the team is. You don't know if they're actually developing. You don't know if you can't really confirm too much of the stuff. So just please understand that when I'm talking about stuff like this, it's like 99% risk. Okay. It's like a meme coin. Just please. All right. I just want to make sure I'm totally transparent. So I don't want someone to buy this and then forget about it and then lose their money and say, Sensei, you didn't tell me it was a, kind of more degen. That's why I'm trying to be open and forward with you on this. Anyways, so I just seen like there's also like AI on base that talks about Apollo here with some of the tokens in the last 24 hours that, people are noticing or starting to talk about. And, I did take a position in this. Also, we look at Min here. FX, this is something that we posted in Cryptonaires. I didn't buy this one, but I know some people are telling me to buy it. I haven't bought it yet. I can't buy everything, right? You can't be in so much stuff at once. So I try to focus on some of the things that I like. This is also something, Wire. This is something that we did talk about inside of Cryptonaires. Let me pull up Wire here. This is something that has been cruising, right? This is at 8 million right now. I believe this is up about 50% since I posted. I think I posted this at about 5 million inside of Cryptonaires. I'm up, maybe I put $5,000 in at 5 million. So I'm up maybe about $2,000, maybe $2,500 on this position here. This is up 50% in 24 hours. So that's kind of very self-explanatory here. This was just at 5 million, but this is one of the tokens that I'm also holding. We'll see what happens with this one. Just to kind of show you what these guys do here to pull this up and give you that data. OTC settlement agent providing market insights and burning wire. So there's a lot of people that are bullish on this. This person saying some base tokens are still slept on. We've got 10 million AI fact checkers outperforming 20 billion ones with 5 million. Taiwanese bank partnership in the process of buying a U.S. bank, already done 9 figures in settlement. There's really no way to confirm some of this stuff, but they did post these dev updates. And so if you're interested in this, there's a lot of really good and unique information. Of course, I will share it here with you. And you know what? I'll share this. I didn't see this dev update, but I will share that inside Cryptonaires too if people are interested. But I know some people are holding this one. I am bullish long-term on Wire. We'll see how all of that turns out. There was a new Messiah report here on XRP. I don't know if you saw the report. I don't want to waste your time and go through all of the details. I asked Perplexity to give me just the kind of, the basics or, what is the most important. And let me just pull up that search. I recorded a video earlier today. I put all of this information into that video. Let me just see where that is. Let me just, sorry. Oh man, that's not it. Hold on. Oh, you know what? All I have to do is look at my previous video. What am I doing? Come on, Sensei, get it together. Hold on. Where's the Messiah report? No, that's not it. Is this it? No, hold on. Just give me a second. I wasn't planning on going into this report, but now I might. Oh shoot. I closed it. No, come on, dude. Here it is. Sorry. I wasn't fully prepared to get into this, but I will. Okay. So here are the finer details from the report. That way you don't have to spend, forever reading it. The key infrastructure updates for the XRP ledger in the Messari Q2 report. The XRP Ledger EVM sidechain went live on June 30th, 2025, providing access to EVM-compatible smart contracts, making it easier for developers from Ethereum and EVM networks to build on the XRP Ledger. Ripple introduced token escrows XLS85 as part of Ripple version 2.5.0 in June, enabling enhanced escrow compliance and programmability features. A roadmap towards full native smart contracts on the XRP Ledger was announced, starting with extensions that allow permissionless customization of built-in features and laying the foundation for a broader DeFi XRP ecosystem. Now, the reason why we've talked about this a lot, but the reason why having this kind of EVM compatible smart contracts ecosystem is important. We know that most of these people building on Ethereum and some of these other networks, need smart contracts to make all of their stuff work. And for a long time, developers and people didn't really know if Ripple and XRP were going to make it through this case unscathed. Now that they have the case behind them and the ability to create or bridge over smart contracts, you're going to see more and more development on the XRP Ledger. The reason why that is important, right? We can't just rely on Ripple, the company, or a few companies like Flare to do this all, right? You want to have 500 or 1,000 different developers building the ecosystem, because those ecosystems are all going to want to use XRP, right? To facilitate the transactions, and maybe that they're locking up XRP for some type of utility or whatever it is. The more XRP that is used inside of this DeFi ecosystem, the less XRP that is available on the circulating supply. So if you're reducing supply, the price is coming up at the same time. So you throw in all of this, DeFi applications and smart contracts and people building, you throw on the ETFs, and you have a recipe for some beautiful, beautiful success. All right. It does talk about compliance and institutional focus. The XRP Ledger continued to add compliance-focused features like decentralized ID, also known as DID, permission DEX, and clawback functions. Guys, you all have used a clawback function before. You might not even know it. If you're not familiar with what a clawback function is, remember, if you've ever bought something online, like from Amazon or whatever it is, you get it in the mail, you're like, hey, this is not what I ordered, right? This is not even close. And so you return that. You need to be able to get your funds back, and that's what clawback is actually doing. So, part of moving transactions and infrastructure onto blockchain, being able to claw back money is going to be vitally important. And so you start to wonder, is there going to be a feature where if you get scammed, or if somebody, if you can prove in a court of law somebody did something, can you claw back the money? I guess that's a whole nother issue of problems, but it would be interesting in the future if that could, if that was an option. The only problem is the timeline and how long that would take. I'm sure the money would be gone before you were able to do that. But anyways, I'm just kind of, my mind is wandering. Ripple received notable regulatory approvals, including being licensed in the Dubai Financial Services Authority, applying for U.S. National Bank charter. Major partnerships were formed, such as Ripple's acquisition of Rail, a stablecoin payments platform, and integrations with Aeon, BNY Mellon, of course, the Ripple custodian, and Kraken. It talks about XRP market cap rose 8.5% quarter over quarter to 130 billion. XRP remained the fourth largest crypto asset by market cap. The real world asset market cap XRPL climbed 13% quarter over quarter to 131.6 million, with significant new real world asset issuance from Ondo and Guggenheim, and tokenized real estate by Control Alt. Ripple stablecoin market cap surged 154.4% quarter over quarter to 65.9 million, and XRPL making it the largest stablecoin in the network as part of a growing stablecoin ecosystem. A lot of stuff happening there, ladies and gentlemen. This is another kind of more degen virtuals play that I bought into. Just wow, did you see this? Facey. This is something that Caitlin actually posted about pretty early in Cryptonaires. I wonder when the first post of this was actually. Let me just look at this really quickly. Hold on, Scott. What are you saying to me? Okay. Hold on. I wanted to show you Fassi. So let me see. New pics, Fassi. When was this posted? I know Caitlin originally posted this. 8/14. No, he posted it before this. Hold on. I'm just trying to find the original Fassi post. I don't know, man. It's hard to find this thing for Caitlin. This thing is up at least 4 or 5x since Caitlin posted it. I don't know exactly how far. I do apologize. But anyways, let me show you Dpin. Dpin. I mean, this thing is 200K market cap. Like this is, I've started to see more and more people starting to post in the private group that I am in. I don't know what's going to happen with this, guys. Just being fully transparent here. This is, like I said, more kind of on the degen side. It does have some, DPIN baby by virtual. So, they're trying to go after the buzzword DPIN there. They're saying it's exploring decentralized physical infrastructure networks and building tools, simplify them. This is something that, at 100K market cap, you put in $500, $300. If it goes to $1 million, you got a nice 7 to 8x. You're going to lose a few of these, but if you can win more than you lose, you're going to make money down the line. Oh, let's see here. What kind of questions we got here? Do you believe in cycles? What do you guys, we think that the 4-year cycle is not going to come into play. I know like there's a person who has a YouTube channel, has more subscribers than I do. Like just a few more subscribers than I do. Very popular person. He believes that there's going to be no more 4-year cycles. Like I've seen posts on X basically saying that we're in some kind of super cycle and we're never going to come back down. And I just think that's, not quite accurate of where we are. We're all still speculating on XRP being $3, right? And Chainlink or whatever, and Ethereum. I do think we're still in these cycles, and eventually we might break out of them, but you don't even have regulation for crypto assets in the US yet, right? And it's very difficult because we have never been in this current position than we are right now, with regulation in the US coming in, as well as 401ks, retirement plans, all of these different things being able to now soon invest in crypto through ETFs, right? So we don't know how that's going to play out. But even the stock market that has been around for over 100 years goes through cycles. So it'd be kind of crazy to assume that the crypto market is never going to experience a bear market again. I can't get on board with that. So I do think we're still in some of these cycles. I don't know who this person is. Who is Dickin Mias? I have no idea who that is, man. Let's see here. Travis says, I think XRP and other American-based cryptos, XLM, HBAR, ADA, XCN, are being purposely subdued to allow for the emplacement of institutional adoption, at least one in. I mean, are there always going to be elites that manipulate markets? Yeah, man. Like, it still happens with everything, right? So why wouldn't it happen with crypto? So there's probably some truth in what you're saying. Absolutely. I would agree. There's definitely some powers that be that are, basically having their way with the markets. When you have enough money and you don't have enough liquidity, like the crypto market, a lot of these tokens don't have enough liquidity. They can make them go up and down as much as they want to put, buying pressure or selling pressure on them. So I agree with you. There's always cycles. See, like that's where I am. That's what I think. Absolutely. Sensei, let's see here. What's up, Big Trev? Sensei, the entire financial backbone of the US is replaced by American technology, XRP. Do you think there will be a super cycle? So, well, first of all, listen. If the US had to decide on a technology today, would it be XRP? And let's have a quick conversation about this, because I think this is a very great question, Trev, and I'm so glad you asked it. So hold on. Excuse me. When you're looking at the US, it's not just going to be one. It's not just going to be one, right? The problem is connecting legacy systems to blockchain rails, right? And the data, right? The data is one part, and the settlement is one part. So like, I would imagine if you needed to reinvent the entire financial system in the US tomorrow, you would need two vital companies. It would be Chainlink, and it would be the XRP ledger. Okay. Now I'll tell you the reason why I think that, right? And some people could say maybe Hedera too, but if you're looking on a global scale, right, it's not just the US domestic payment system. You got to be thinking about the world and how the world interoperates with the US payment system, right? Because you have money going everywhere, right? You have money coming in for other countries, you have money going out for other countries. And what is the best solution for cross-border? It's a bridge asset. It's something like XRP, right? And someone say, oh, Sensei, Stellar, right? Stellar is doing something similar. Stellar is more focused on retail markets. They're not focused on institutional markets like Ripple has been their entire cycle here, their entire life as a company. They have been working with financial institutions to bring blockchain technology to the forefront. So I would imagine that it would be a combination of XRP and Chainlink, because you're going to need information updated throughout the world. And Chainlink is probably one of the best companies, the most secure companies to do that, my personal opinion. But I really appreciate the question, Trev. I hope that was somewhat helpful. I know that as an XRP holder, man, we would love to have the entire US financial system on the XRP ledger. But remember, they just created FedNow. FedNow is able to send instant payments. You can use XRP and other assets in FedNow if you really wanted to. And that is supposed to be the next evolution of the US payment system. That's where eventually FedWire will probably be sucked into FedNow and things like that. But, the Trump administration might want to move forward with, something like that. We just don't know what's being talked about behind the scenes, and we can always speculate, and we can always, but I think we're still a little bit of ways from getting something like that. Henry Dacus with a super sticker of $20. Henry, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Any donations on the channel, we go, my wife and I go on the weekend. We go to this like Whole Foods dog store where they have like some of the like the most they don't have all these kind of crazy ingredients, and they're like more kind of whole food dog food, right? And any donations, we just spend it on our dog Luna. So really appreciate you. Thank you so much. It is an honor. Chainlink is data. You're absolutely right. And isn't all of that would be data, right? Like it's one thing for the payment, but the payment is attached with data. Okay, right? Who the payment's going to, why the payment's going to them, the KYC, the AML, all of those things. You could say like, yeah, maybe RippleNet could take all that over, but I do think like you would never just want one system, because you got to think about this, right? The American financial system, all of these different banks and institutions and financial market infrastructures are all connected together, right? And a lot of this stuff is siloed systems, but it's all interconnected, and you can go with different systems if something were to occur. If you put your entire financial system on one blockchain and something happened to the one blockchain, your total financial system would be a problem, right? So you never just want to go with one thing. It's always going to be a handful, in my personal opinion, but I could be wrong about that. Let's see here. Since have you been to a luau lately? You know what? This is a fun question that you asked. Last time I was at a luau was probably the beginning of the year. My wife's dad came in from Brazil, and we went to Paradise Cove in Coalina. Let me show you this. Paradise Cove, Coalina. This is actually where my sister got married too, and I used to live in Paradise Cove, and so I used to live in Coalina. And so let me just show you what this looks like here. So this is like one of the beaches that the luau is on, and it has a beautiful, beautiful view of the sunset. Like the sun's going down right in front of you, and they do all these like events where they have the dancers and of course the pig. But yeah, this is kind of what my sister's wedding looked like. It was right here in Coalina. They have a little church there. And yeah, man, it's really freaking beautiful. And like they have fire dancers and all of this stuff. Yeah, here's the fire dancers, man. Hell yeah. And so yeah, Paradise Cove. This is the best luau in my personal opinion. Some would say like, some people like Germain's or other things, but I think Paradise Cove is the best one. And the pig comment, I love some, is it Lulu or Lau? I never say it right, but it's really good. We're having a party on Saturday here in the building I live in for 100,000 subscribers. It's like, friends and family. And I catered, we're having it catered. And one of the things is a Hawaiian, cooked pig. And so that should be pretty fun. We don't, man, we don't know. Like people think Elon's going to use Ripple and XRP, and there's been some information that kind of would make sense that it could be XRP, but there's no definitive answer. I think you remember the clip where somebody was in the crowd and Elon was promoting something, and somebody asked specifically about XRP, and Elon kept a straight face. So it's really hard to say. But obviously, XRP would make the most sense. But he could go with XLM. He could go with Hedera. We just don't know. But we hope, right? We hope it's something like XRP. Elon might want to create his own blockchain or something like that. But like the hard part about that is, you know, it's one thing to create something. You got to test it. You got to audit it. You got to bring people in it. That is why when banks are, you know, this is when we had the conversation about banks creating their own stable coins, how long that would take. You know, what I showed you, like how long, like the planning phase, you got to hire people to build it. Then they got to develop it. Then after the developer, now you have to go out and sandbox test it. You have to bring partners. Usually takes 12 to 24 months to build something from scratch on the fastest timeline, 12 to 24 months. And so if you're a bank competing with other banks, are you really going to wait 2 years, right, to compete? Or are you going to go to Ripple and say, hey, you know, we like what you're doing with RLUSD. You know, that is a staple for US stablecoins in America. We want to follow suit. And I'd imagine that'll happen. So Ryan Calhoun says, do you think XRP, when XRP hits $500, do you think it will go overnight and retail not being able to buy on exchanges? You know, I think if you ask people like Zach Rector and Jake Claver, you know, they often talk about, you know, order books being very thin. And if you have a sudden huge demand for XRP and those order books are bought through, you know, I think I can't remember, like I'd have to look at the current data of how much money would need to be bought to purchase and go through it. But you know what? Maybe that's an interesting idea for a video, man. You know, I just got to put some notes in my head there. But yeah, I think when it happens, it'll happen very quickly, right? That's when I think people talk about a flip of the switch, or, you know, something like that. I think, you know, people are referring to it, just the price suddenly going from that instant demand. And, you know, if it's going to happen like that, it'll happen like that. And, you know, but it'll be a quick spike and it'll probably come back down to something, you know, more reasonable. But I'd imagine if they start blasting through some of those order books, like the ETFs are the biggest opportunity that we have over the next few months to really make this price go stupid, because the ETFs will be fresh inflows into XRP, right? And fresh inflows in XRP come with that market multiplier, fresh inflows and outflows, because you're buying fresh XRP off the open market to fund those spot ETFs. And that will have, that'll have some zip and bang to it, in my personal opinion. See, OSOK, what effect would you predict if Musk adopts XRP? I mean, like, dude, I mean, like, there are millions of people out there that look up to Elon Musk as this, you know, Elon Musk comes with his own controversies in the things that he does and says. So it's like, it's weird, you know. I think what he does as far as like getting, you know, creating PayPal and creating Tesla and SpaceX and all of these companies, Neuralink, and Starlink, and all of these things are helping the, you know, human race advance more quickly. And for that, I think, you know, he's done a lot of good, and a lot of people look up to him. Now, the recent stuff with kind of like him gutting USAID and gutting a lot of the government, I wasn't on board with some of that stuff. And I didn't like the way that he did some of that stuff, and just was kind of carelessly kind of chopping through the American government system. But I think there's a lot of people, millions of people out there that look up to Elon. And if he said something about XRP, we would have a few million new XRP holders personally. That's what I think would happen. So yeah, man, I think it would be pretty good. Yeah. I mean, you know, they're going to try to, if this is really what's going to take place, they're going to try to push as many people out as possible. Right. And, people that have faith, people that can see past, you know, the BS. Those are the people that are going to be the real winners in the end. But some people are going to get freaked out, and some people are going to go. Now, if XRP dipped 90% in price, I would be going down to the bank and selling the shirt on my back to buy more XRP. Like on it, honestly, like I'm like, hey, my wife would wake up, you know, one morning, and like her wedding ring and like all of her stuff would be gone. Her purses would be gone. Like I would liquidate Tice's entire closet to buy more XRP. Babe, where's my purses? About that. Sit down, honey. We need to talk, you know? I don't know, man. How accurate? Like, listen, I'll tell you here. Jake is a very brilliant, well-connected, already rich, you know, people say that he's, you know, signed NDAs and he knows things that a lot of us don't, right? And so I would agree with all of that. I think Jake is a very unique individual, but there's also the other side of it where, you know, why does he keep, like, we've gone from end of the year 750 to then he, like a few days after he said that, he said, well, you know, if these things don't play out the exact way that I laid them out, he says XRP could be like $12 or $14. And then like a few days after that, there was a thing that he says that by early 2026, XRP could be 1,500 or 2,000. So like I'm trying to keep up with the constant movement of price, whether it's 750 or 2,000. I don't care. Anything over like $500, I'm doing some weird freaky dance like on stream, right? I want to believe that there's some validity in what he's saying, but I have seen people in the space before that are as smart, as intelligent, as connected, that have said something like this and nothing has happened. So, you know, I don't know what side of the fence that you land on, but I wouldn't discount what he's saying, but I also wouldn't count it as it actually happened yet, right? Like it's cool to hear, but I think Jake has a plan to bring people in. Like his business is to help people set up companies, and like he wants to get eyes on what he's doing, and he's doing a great job at that. Scott thinks it's very possible. Like there's a lot of people that believe it's very possible. Listen, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. All right. Oh, you guys want to see Luna? Oh, damn. She's crashed out. Hold on. Oh. Luna. Hold on. When she wakes up, I'll bring her. Yeah, Scott says Jake knows. That's what he says. Well, am I silly? It took me 56 minutes to smash the like button. Sacred Terra, what's up, dude? All good, all good. Would you recommend a Ledger cold wallet? I have on it. I know Jake Claver doesn't. Your thoughts? I think Jake has access to like institutional level custody, right? And obviously, if you have access to something like that, why would you use anything else? I personally have a Ledger, and I know there's people that, you know, don't like Ledger, or they don't like, you know, all these different companies, but I keep XRP on Ledger, so on a few ledgers actually. So that's what I use currently. Decent just sent me a wallet here. Hold on. Decent just sent me this wallet actually. So I'm gonna open this and do some content on like what I think about this when I open it. I'll let you know. Probably gonna do this in the next few days, but Ledger or Decent are very popular names for cold wallets and people like them. And so the one thing that I would recommend, right, if you are going to buy any cold wallet, whether it's a Decent, a Ledger, whatever it is, make sure that you buy it directly from the manufacturer. Don't go on Amazon. Don't go on Amazon or one of these third-party sites, because you might buy something that's already been opened and you might be buying it from somebody that's just trying to scam you. So if you're going to do it, go directly from the manufacturer, please. Are we still talking about this? Oh, I think old gent is just like watching the very beginning of the stream. Tariffs are paid by importers of foreign goods, then marked up for us to buy. Tariffs are taxes on we the consumer. Yeah, customer. Yeah. No country pays a tariff on anything. Yeah, accurate. 100%. The companies importing, the US companies importing the stuff pays the tariffs. Yeah. I don't know if Trump does. Trump still says that other countries pay. I don't know if he believes that or what, but yeah, customers end up paying. Big Trev says, Sensei, I watch all your videos. HBAR is not as mature as XRP, but it has an advantage over XRP because it uses asynchronous Byzantine protocol instead of synchronous. He also says every time HBAR finishes a transaction is always in the exact same time slot. XRP's finality time can be very because it has different use of synchronized. HBAR is deterministic finality. That time gives us a huge advantage in supply chain because they can build code expecting the same time finishing. I think, listen, Trev, I think both. Like, if you can afford to own XRP and HBAR, those are both things that I think are part of the future financial system. Like we've talked about that for years, right? HBAR, XLM, XRP, Chainlink, Ethereum. These are all things that are extremely important. But I think you have some great points about HBAR there, man. Thank you for sharing all of that. Would it make more sense to figure out what Swift's value is using conservative dominance level for XRP, doing the math on the market cap and circulating supply to figure out price for XRP? Hard, right? Because like you can't buy Swift. Swift is a conglomerate, right, of 11,500 banks, and each bank has like a share, right? I think each bank owns like or has a one, I don't know, it's like one vote or one thing. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see here. First off, we need to establish something. Who owns the Swift banking system? How does ownership? How is ownership? How is owner figured out? First, you need to figure this out, right? Yeah, so it's owned by its members, financial institutions, and operates a cooperative, not any single entity or government. Swift is a member-owned cooperative under Belgium law, comprised of 1,000 shareholder organizations, thousands of shareholder organizations. It does talk about the board of governance. Oversight. Swift is overseen collectively by central banks of the G10 countries: Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the Netherlands, United Kingdom, and the United States, Switzerland, and Sweden, as well as the European Central Bank of National Bank of Belgium. This is an interesting idea. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to figure it out like that, but XRP Maxi, if you're able to come up with some information, send it on over to me in email. I'll take a look at it, man. If I can make it make sense in my head, I'll put a video together and we can talk about this. OSOK says, I went to college in Iowa and my fraternity have a young pig roast every spring and called it Spring Luau, but it was a drunken party really featuring a pig. Hey man, sometimes it starts out as something like glamorous and then just turns into a frat party. Oh, Kendall, what's up, man? Good to see you. Mason Taylor's here. Good to see you, man. Doge and Elon put all our social security numbers. Yeah. That's one of the things that I have a really big problem with. I don't think people realize how much of your data is now floating out in Neverland. Some 21-year-old person has your data on their laptop. It's kind of scary. It's actually really scary. I have a great set of hair. I just got a haircut, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. My hairdresser, actually, his name is Toro. And I was living in Hawaii in my 20s, and he started cutting my hair when I was 24 or 23. And so I've known him for like 17 or 18 years now, and he cuts my hair still. So kind of a strange thing, huh? James Grieve says, I love Tangem, highly recommended. Love to hear that, brother. Thank you. Do you think we're going to have a crazy bear market this run with big money, generational wealth institutions joining the market and staying? That's a tough one, right? Like, do we think prices are going to go back down to where they were in 2022 and 2023? Probably not, right? But they will go down, right? Institutions have a lot of really smart, intelligent people working for them that get paid millions of dollars to give them advice. And if you don't think those institutions understand that these markets move in cycles, we're not thinking about this clearly. So I definitely believe that there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And like part of me thinks like, man, I would love XRP to just go to the moon tomorrow and then not have to worry about all this. But the greedy part of me is like, well, I'd love prices to go back down so I can acquire more, right? And so what side of the fence are you on, right? Do you want to try to own more of this over the next few years, or would you rather have it just go now? I think there's a lot of people that have been in the crypto space for a long time that say go now, but I think a lot of people that are just now joining and just now are like figuring out crypto and getting excited about it, I think they would want lower prices. So, it's both sides of the fence. You, Jake, and Paul Barron are the most watched daily crypto channels. Well done, Sensei. Is that real? I didn't. Paul Barron has like 1 million subscribers, doesn't he? It's hard to imagine that my channel would compete against a channel that's 10x my size. Let's take a look. I mean, I don't even know, man. I know Paul Barron's been doing a lot of stuff on XRP, but yeah, look, this guy's got 1.6 million. He's got 1.67 million subscribers. Let's see. Where's his XRP content? Yeah, see, like XRP ETF, 105,000 views. Yeah, I mean, it's scary to think what kind of views that we could get with 1 million subscribers. Like, I would be lying to you if I told you that I haven't, thought about, what the channel could turn into. But, like that's all going to figure itself out, right? Like I have no control for growth and all this stuff. All I can do is show up every day, give everything that I can, give you as much information as I can so you can be better prepared for what's to come. And if I can successfully do that every single day, I can go to sleep happy, and hopefully people can learn. And that's why I got into crypto, got into the community side of it, got into helping people understand it. And it's just kind of taking its own thing. And so I appreciate the support, man. I really do. It means the world to me. People like Tangem. Damn. All right. Fair enough. XRP pump. All right. I like the intensity. Looks like we got a donation here. Wait, did someone say Oscar's here? Oscar Ramos. What's up, dude? Great to see you. The great Oscar Ramos is here. From Luna to Luna, Whole Food Snacks. Nice. What is the place called? Oh, man. All right, hold on. Should we get a snack for Luna and we'll give it to her like live? Here, give me 1 second. I'm going to go get it, okay? Yo, dude. Hold on. All right, hold on. People want to see you. They want to see how you're doing. Here, let's just put this down. OSOK gave us $10 to buy you snacks. All right, here, let's move this. All right. Here we go. Oh, look, she's grabbing it off the desk. I love treats. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Did you say thank you? Did you say thank you for my good snacks? People donated to give you good snacks, my baby. All right. Do you want to say anything? Now's your chance. Now's your time to shine. All right. Go sit down, my baby. All right. Thank you so much, OSOK. Luna really appreciates you, man. Thank you. Your content is just as good, Sensei. Hey, let's put this person on timeout for a little bit if we can. I appreciate you, Oscar. Still gonna have you on the show. Luna yo, Oscar, can't wait for Luna. Love the channel on Oscar too. Yeah, guys, if you're not following Oscar, let me just go ahead and show you his channel, man. That man is a beast on the charts. Look at this good looking man here. Look at this. Let me pull him up here. Look at this. Look at this picture. His live sessions are insane. Look at these views on these live sessions. Man, this is what I look up to. 21,000 views, 32,000 views on a live stream. My man is hot. My man is hot. Oh, Tom loves Oscar. Tom loves Sensei. I love that. Eric Holden says it's Sensei, Mikkel, and Cash for me. Yeah, both those guys work real hard, man. Real hard, man. I appreciate being even mentioned in the same breath of those guys. You're sharing the stream with your friend, with my stream with your friends. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Luna is cute. Luna is cute. Oh my god, I was looking, like, you know how your iPhone gives you all of like the the history, like the memories and stuff. Oh my god, like sometimes they have ones where it's just Luna. Yeah, look, ones with just Luna. Oh my god. I absolutely like, these are my favorite photos in the world. Okay, here, look. This is OG Luna. This is when Luna was a baby. This is the first picture I saw of Luna. And like I was like, "Oh my god, that's the one." And then this is Luna as a little puppy. Look at those ears. Oh my goodness, here, look. Luna used to play fetch when she's a kid. Look, she's just jumping around. Oh man, warms my heart. This is one of our favorite photos of her, looking like a boss. All right, I could talk about Luna all day here. I'm gonna get pulled in here. Oh, thank you, Londa. Appreciate you. Great to see you. Who remembers XR Doge? Man, that feels like a nightmare. That feels like a nightmare. Oh, we got Oscar blushing. I love that. I love that. Oh, Yolanda says, Sensei, latest uploads are what I look for every time I turn on YouTube. I appreciate you. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Luna, we are like this. I'm sure like people that have a dog, it's different from dogs and cats though, right? Like you have a dog, the dog follows you everywhere you go, gets really excited when you're home, gets a little sad when you leave. Like there's no other feeling like that, Cats are like, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing over here, but it's nice to see you. They come when they need some love. Just a little bit different. Who remembers BitConnect? Dogs are the best people. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Let me see what's going on with some of these projects here. Okay, remember though, here guys, I'm going to have really quickly, I just want to show you this real quick. So on Friday, I am going to have the founder of Meta Inside. Okay, I'm going to have the founder of Meta Inside here to tell us everything that they're working on. I know some of you got into this with me when I posted it originally at 1 million market cap. This thing has gone over like to 5.5 or something. Right now, it's sitting at about 3.7 million market cap right now. This is one of my bigger virtuals holdings, and this guy is, I mean, like crazy smart, building the future of AI and blockchain. So we're gonna have him on the show on Friday. Make sure to show up for that. It's gonna be it's gonna be really good. Any thoughts on Algorand? I think there's obviously people who like Algorand, and I don't spend any of my time researching Algorand at this point, and so I probably would not be the right person to ask this question. I couldn't do Algorand justice with everything that the team is working on behind the scenes. I just don't know, and so I wouldn't want to try to give you information that I'm not 100% sure on. So I wish I could tell. I know people like it. People talk about the ISO coins and things like that. Algorand's always mentioned, but I just really couldn't do it justice, my friend. Christopher says Algorand is very undervalued and is going to play a critical role in utility. Man, love to hear that, Chris. In your experience, what is the best exchange to sell large amounts of crypto? I've never used Caleb and Brown. I've used Coinbase. I'm comfortable with Coinbase. I think Kraken, Uphold, Gemini, they have good reputations. I haven't used those exchanges though. My biggest is Coinbase. Like that is something that I've had connected to my bank account for a long time. Their fees are, they could be better, right? They're a little high. But this type of, sometimes you have to pay for that type of stuff. I think all of these exchanges have a bit of a problem with trying to keep customer data secure, right? And when you have operations all over the world, you're only as secure as like your weakest link. And I think I think Coinbase experienced that recently, and they had to kind of come up with some money to pay back some people's accounts that were compromised, and they did that from what I understood. So as long as you can stand behind your product, and I don't think Coinbase is going anywhere anytime soon, but I just don't have any experience with Caleb Brown and Kraken and other ones. Maybe someday soon. What's up, Sam? Good morning, Sensei. Sending you sunny greetings all the way from Australia. Yes, cheering on XRP with you, Sam. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Morning. Have a fantastic day, Sam. Truly fantastic day. I wish you the best. We got Rod Gutierrez in chat saying, okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Oh, there was a little bit more XRP stuff, guys. Should we watch that? Here, let me bring this back up here. I think we just got a little excited with all the chat. So we talked about this partnership already. If you're interested in finding out more about this information, I made 2 videos today that will come out tomorrow. I get into details, all the finer things about this partnership and why it's big. If you're interested in just like getting the information right now, if you rewind the chat maybe like 30 or 40 minutes, that's where I went into it. John Deaton did post this. I predicted this just like I predicted Gemini's XRP card would be Gemini's most popular credit card. In fact, I think XRP holders made the Gemini app surpass Coinbase app regarding recent downloads. Remember, 75,000 XRP holders from 143 countries around the world joins as Amici class in the SEC versus Ripple case. Nothing like that has ever happened before. So Gemini, right place, right time with the right product. This was also posted here. Let me go ahead and play this. It looks like this is Digital Asset Investor. I think that's who this is. And is that Tim Draper? I think that's Tim Draper. Let me play this.
Are you saying that a lot of that Nostro money one day is going to be in XRP? Is that the ultimate goal?
Oh, it's going to be replaced. It's going to be replaced by XRP. And so that just that demand for the thimble of oil, like that thimble is pretty big. And so if all the banks need just enough XRP to handle their liquidity requirements, and you also have money transmitters doing it, and maybe even just major corporations are doing it as well. They're just posting their own liquidity around. Everybody needs less liquidity than they needed nostro and vostro fiat currency, but that's still a lot of practical need for XRP. And so I think Ripple's done some of those calculations. If each bank around the world and each other regulated financial institution had just enough XRP for their liquidity needs, that would create amazing practical demand for XRP all around the world. Just like there's only 21 million Bitcoins, if people want to have that in their portfolio as like a defensive asset, by the time all the different retirement funds, hedge funds, individuals buy just to have a little bit of extra of Bitcoin tucked away, that creates an overall aggregate demand for Bitcoin. Same is true for Ripple, although its purpose is not just like as a panic currency, it's for a very specific task, creating an alternative to the heavy liquidity needs for the current nostro vostro system of correspondent banking.
Interesting. Here, you guys want to see like what happens when I hear something like this and I want to build a video around it? Like here, I'll show you what I do, right? So he said something interesting in there. Like I need to play it back. Hold on. Let me play this back. I find this interesting. It's like right in here. Hold on. Talking about nostro vostro accounts. Ripple did the calculation. Let me play it one more time so I can better understand it, and then I know what to ask.
But that's still a lot of practical need for XRP. And so I think Ripple's done some of those calculations. If each bank around the world and each other regulated financial institution had just enough XRP for their liquidity needs, that would create amazing practical demand for XRP all over.
All right, here. I think I understand what he's saying here. So let's bring up a fresh Perplexity search here. Man, I wish I could be sponsored by Perplexity. I probably got a bunch of people using Perplexity now because of this. So we want to identify how much money is in nostro vostro accounts all over the world. I want to better understand, if I can spell better right, better understand if that value went into buying fresh XRP off the open market to provide liquidity for all these financial institutions, what could that do for the price of XRP and how much are we talking? Okay. So like sometimes I hear things like that, right? I want to better understand, how much money are we talking about here and what would happen if this money went into it, right? So it says estimated 10 trillion to 27 trillion is held in nostro vostro accounts globally at any given time, with more conservative recent banking industry estimates around 10 trillion, yada, yada, yada. Nostro vostro accounts are used by financial institutions for facilitating cross-border payments, requiring them to pre-fund accounts in foreign currencies around the world. This is what XRP solves, right? Current estimates for global liquidity sitting across these range, lower 10 trillion, higher 27 trillion. Some sources mention 22 trillion euros or $28 trillion. Is that pounds or euros? Is that pounds? I'm so sorry. I get those two mixed up because I'm so not used to seeing this. Impact of converting nostro vostro funds. If banks replace these fiat pre-funded accounts with XRP, they would theoretically only need a much smaller pool of XRP to provide on-demand liquidity due to XRP's much faster settlement. Theoretically, all trapped liquidity was replaced by on-demand liquidity using XRP. It could create sustained buy pressure for XRP. Yes. Give me the information I want. If a large portion of the 5 to 10 trillion is trapped liquidity shifted to buying more XRP, allocating the conservative fraction. Where is the number, yo? It didn't give me the number, right? It didn't give me the number. So like sometimes this is what happens. It doesn't give. So you didn't. Now we understand how much value. Let's put that into XRP's price. if 10 trillion, or let's just call it 10 trillion, 10 trillion went into buying XRP, which would be an insane amount, what would that do to the price? And like, this is like what I would do. I would search all this stuff. And sometimes you get to a place where you're like, yeah, this is not really good, valuable information. People might not care. And then you like stumble on something that people might actually find value in. And so like, this is what I'm doing constantly all day until I find something like, pretty juicy that we talk about. So this is saying, the global circulating supply is 59 billion, 10 trillion divided by 59 billion is $168 per XRP. But no, understand that this is I think this is doing a $10 trillion market cap. No, hold on. No, I think this is 10 trillion in fresh buys, but this is not considering any kind of market cap multiplier. So you would need to figure out at what point would the market cap multiplier not be 100x or 500x. And anyways, this is kind of how I would start building a video around this. And then I would go to Twitter and I would look up Nostro Vostro XRP to see if there's any posts or videos besides that one of them talking about it. And then I would start to build a video like that. So, you can always take things that you hear and ideas and try to expand on those ideas to see if there's anything like there. But that's how I would start to like build a video if you're interested. Yeah, multipliers are something that I think a lot of people don't quite fully understand, right? Simply put, there's not enough liquidity in the tokens, and so a dollar coming in to XRP right now would have like 100x or a 200x multiplier for market cap. So $1 in, $100 or $200 on the market cap. I've seen the market cap multiplier as high as like 500 or 1,000, but normally it's like in that $200x level. So if you got $1 billion to come in on fresh inflows on ETFs and you had a 100x multiplier, it's 100 billion. Or if you had a 500x multiplier, it's 500 billion, right? So you get 2, 3, 5 billion in inflows and you get a market cap multiplier, you get into the trillions in market cap pretty quickly. Even Bitcoin still has a market cap multiplier right now. Like here, let me show you. Do you have any current data on Bitcoin's market cap multiplier, what it is today? Inflows to market cap change. How big is it? Let's see if they can find it. In the early days, it was like 20 something, I think. Oh, sometimes we get stuck here. Let's see here. Market cap, circulating supply. Fair values, often 3.7 indicate. No. And see, sometimes it doesn't give you the information you want. You have to keep going back and back. But here, market cap multiplier right now, it's about 3.7. So for every $1 that's going into Bitcoin, it changes the market cap about 3.7 times. I know Christmas is going to be on us real quick, though. We have 6 Christmas trees. We live in Florida. How is Florida doing? Like, I know there was that, storm or hurricane or whatever it was. Was it last year? Has everything kind of been fixed from all that? So I know a lot of people are like selling their houses or whatever, trying to get out. I just didn't know how things have been since then. Yeah, all the money's coming on chain, guys. Like, I don't think people realize like how much money we're talking about. Like, it's astronomical, quadrillions of dollars, quadrillions. That's a weird word, dude. What do you think about Algorand? Hey, Mark Prater, thank you for the question. We actually had someone just briefly ask about this a little while ago. I'm not really following updates on Algorand, so I really wouldn't be the best person to ask, and I wouldn't want to do the team injustice. There's a lot of people in the chat that are very bullish on Algorand, and so there's probably someone in the chat that knows a lot more about it than I do. I just wouldn't want to give you information that I wasn't, 100% solid on. So I'll try to do some due diligence on Algorand over the next, few weeks. And that way, when somebody asks me this question, I at least have something to say, but just don't want to do it injustice. There's a lot of people that believe $1,000 is possible. Like I believe eventually you'll see a 4-digit XRP. I believe one day you can see a 5-digit XRP. Like I believe that in my heart. Is that going to happen? It's impossible to say, man. It's impossible to say. You start to imagine that XRP right now represents about 5% of the crypto market as a total, right? But with ETFs and new institutions wanting access to XRP, that 5% might grow to 8 or 10%. Okay. Now, Bitcoin has the largest share. Okay. But companies and institutions are not looking to Bitcoin to tokenize value, right? They're not really looking at Bitcoin for very much else other than store of value, right? That's where they put Bitcoin. They put Bitcoin in a box. It's the store of value box. Okay. Ethereum's the smart contract box. A lot of tokenization happening on Ethereum and layer 2s. Robinhood is developing some stuff on Ethereum layer 2. JP Morgan, right? So that's very popular. But there's institutions that are looking at Ethereum and thinking like, that's not going to solve all my problems, right? We want something that's, we can do settlement with. We want something, that's some type of bridge asset. And this is really where XRP can shine the greatest. Okay. But you got to look at, like, right now, XRP represents 5%. I do believe in the future, over the next maybe few months or a few years, XRP will represent even larger share of the market, maybe 10 or 20, 15%, something crazy. And you start to imagine that when institutions come to the crypto market to tokenize value, they're probably going to go just one of a few places. They're going to go to Ethereum. They're going to go to the XRP ledger, and they're going to go to, a handful of other ones like Hedera and, maybe some other, like some XDC and some other ones. Right. But I think the majority will look towards the XRP ledger to build some of that utility on. Okay. So if XRP is able to capture 5% or 10% of the world's value on the XRP ledger, what does that do to the price? Right. Where does that take us? Right. There's people that believe that XRP could represent most of the world's value. Right. And that could be the network, the internet of value for the entire world to use. We don't know at what scale this will, come to fruition. But, I believe that XRP is probably one of the best utility tokens that hits all of the boxes that financial institutions are looking, right? Compliance, KYC, AML, counterterrorism checks. Those types of things are vitally important for any financial institution when they're sending a payment. And Ripple built all of that compliance into their technology. And I think a lot of people will be using it. We kind of got a little out there, but I was just trying to share with you how I look at it and my thought process on it. So I hope that was valuable for you. If Bitcoin is only used for a store of value, I think it's failed. Yeah, well, no shit, right? But that's where, like, think about it. When you were in crypto, like if you were in crypto 5 years ago, like when I first got into crypto, it was Bitcoin, the technology of the future, right? Like everyone's going to be using Bitcoin. Everything will be on Bitcoin. Now, like even Jack Mallers, who is the biggest advocate for Bitcoin, he's the one who's putting Bitcoin in this box of it's a store of value. It's a digital store of value. It's digital gold, right? How many times have you heard that? Well, turns out financial institutions aren't really interested in using Bitcoin for other than a store of value, right? Digital gold. And then you start to look at like, what are the problems that the world actually has? Nostra Vostro, the tokenizing of financial assets, cross-chain, cross-currency. These are all very important things that the world is going to be looking at. And how do you update all of that data in real time? That's, Chainlink and other Oracle sources. I don't think Bitcoin, I personally don't believe Bitcoin will remain the number one cryptocurrency in my heart and soul. I don't believe it will remain there. Just because you were the first at something doesn't mean you remain at the top. All right. Just think back into like the 90s, or like, when did we start downloading songs on the internet, right? It was Napster, right? Think about Napster. Everybody was using Napster at one time to download pirated music. Where's Napster today? Right? It was like the first. And then there was like LimeWire and all of these other things. And that's led us to Spotify. That's led us to Apple Music. That's led us to what's the other one? Paragram or Paradigm or whatever it is. But the evolution of technology changes over time. And what people are interested in using changes over time. And if your utility cannot change with the growing demand, it's cool that you were the first. But to say that because you were the first, you will always be the first, I think those people are smoking rocks. honestly. So. Man, there's a lot of love in the chat. I love the love in the chat. Florida Turtle Ranch says Florida will always be my second home, from Pensacola to Key West. I need to get out to Florida, man. I heard you guys party hard out there. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Say Ray 316, aka Roosty Shackle F1. That is a pretty dope name. I'll be honest with you. That's pretty cool. We were discussing this earlier, and a lot of people believe that it's going to happen, and some people are a little bit more critical of the price point. Regardless, we're going to see what's going to happen, right? This is just a few months away. So I'll be rooting for Jake. Trust me. I am rooting for the man. I want him to be right, but part of me is like, it's also some crazy shit, 50 trillion market cap for XRP in the next 4 months. Okay, we'll see. That's how much is the US stock market? It's about 50 trillion, right? So you're talking about XRP representing the same amount of value. It's basically the stock market. Yes, it's just market cap, and it's not actually how much value is on the ledger. But so in order for all that to happen, though, you do realize that Japan's economy would collapse. He also predicts that Tether will collapse, and people will be leaving Tether and Bitcoin for XRP, right? So there's a lot of things that have to play out that I don't know. Is that going to happen over the next 3 or 4 months? I don't know. Maybe Jake's from the future. He could be. I mean, he's built like a Terminator, so maybe he is from the future. I don't know. Has anyone ever tested Jake or seen him bleed? Maybe he's a synthetic robot. I don't know, man. Kind of crazy, right? Napster 1997. See, that's what's up. See, the evolution of technology changed over time, right? That's almost 30 years ago, 28 years ago. So where are we going to be in 28 years from now? Is Bitcoin still going to be number one? I bet you Bitcoin's not number one in the next 5 years, right? There's only so much money in the world, like physical paper money, that can go into Bitcoin. But when you start talking about the tokenization of financial products, that's all the money. And you can't bring all of the money onto Bitcoin, right? Unfortunately, for Bitcoin holders, you can't do it. And no, the American government is not going to be pumping your bags. I think that was one of the nicer things that I saw over the last few weeks. I mean, it did affect the crypto market overall, but I was happy to see that the US government wasn't buying what some of these people were selling, right? Nokia phones. Yeah, that's another one. I mean, how many people had a Nokia phone and played Phone Snake, right? That was the OG cell phone game, right? I was so good at Phone Snake. You'd have to go, the snake would get so long that you just had to go up and down, up and down, up and down. And it would get so long that you would actually eventually run into your tail, right? My keyboard on my phone, I had to swap it out all the time because the buttons were just wore down for me, smashing on Snake all the time. Nextel phones, yeah, with the beep, the walkie-talkies, those were cool, man. Those were really big in Hawaii, actually. People love the Nextel phone. You always heard the beep, Oh, dude, that was very popular here. Hey, Jay Castle. Hello, crypto. I think that's for me. What do you think about HBAR in the next 3 to 6 months? Well, let's see, man. We didn't even actually look at the market today. We're so pumped up with all the other news. Let's pull this up, man. Okay, we're up below 4%, little $3. 24 cents. Let's take a look here. Hedera's all-time high was back in. So actually, that's interesting. HBAR's all-time high was September 14th, 2021. Interesting that Hedera topped a few months before Bitcoin and Ethereum topped, right? But you had a price here of 45 cents. I mean, I think Hedera could go to, $1 to $3, I think is reasonable. I think $1 to $3 is pretty reasonable for Hedera, but I'm not like a Hedera specialist. I don't spend a ton of time understanding like all of the complexities of what's happening on Hedera. So, I definitely ask somebody that maybe is spending a lot more time in the Hedera ecosystem. Oh man, I'm taking you guys back now, huh? Now we're just like going through the 90s and the early 2000s. Have you seen the time traveler guy talking about a 73,000? Is that $73,000 XRP? Lusk? Wouldn't that be crazy? We would all be, billionaires at that point, right? 73K? I don't even know how much money I'd have. It'd be a lot. Man, I'd have like a car for every day of the month, like this is my January 1st car. This is my January 7th car. This is my, the license plate would say like Sensei 1, Sensei, like I would run out of the numbers on the plate. Because in Hawaii you can only have 6 digits. So SENSEI. That's everything. I can't put anything else on. I'd have to have like stickers on the actual car, Sensei 1, Sensei 2. Yeah, I hope you get to retire. I think that's what a lot of us are here, right? Like, some of us are close to my age, right? Like some people are here like between 30, 40, 50, 60. Like we have this wide range of people that watch the channel. The majority of people that watch the channel are age 35 to 55. That's like over half people that watch the channel. And I think depending where you are in life and where your parents are right now, I think there are a lot of people that are very interested in trying to take advantage of this transfer of wealth so we can take care of our parents, right? And sometimes we're in a situation where our parents have taken care of us our whole life, right? A lot of us, our parents did everything that they could to make a good life for us and give us everything that we could have, right? And now they're a little older and we want to do everything we can to take care of them. So, I think if there was ever a time in our entire human race of we've never had this opportunity. We've never experienced a shift like this of financial technology that everyday people, right, could be a part of. Not an institution, an everyday person could get here and own a part of the next financial system before anybody else. And I think that's what's very powerful here, right? And all of this technology, it's not all going to work out, right? It's not all going to be adopted. It's not all going to go to the moon like we think of it, right? Some of it is going to fail. Some of it's going to get hacked. Some of it will fall apart with the community, right? But the stuff that does, right? The stuff that makes it through all of that, that will be the next financial system. And, we have a chance to be a part of that. That's extremely special to me. Jake's lips were always cracked and he's bleeding, so he's real. Okay, well, I just wanted to check on that, man. Just got to make sure, dude. You never know, dude. Crypto Sensei, Jake move his prediction to the middle of 2026. Okay, fair enough. I have a feeling we're going to get to the middle of 2026 and the prediction is going to be moved to 2028 or 2030, but all good, man. All good. I think he's taken a lot of pressure on himself because the predictions, right? But a lot of people have eyes on him now. And I think that was the intent. So, I want him to be right more than I want him to be wrong. Let's just put it that way. I want him to be right more than I want him to be wrong. I want to see Jake succeed in the biggest way possible with that price prediction. All right. Yeah, dude, Nokia phones, you could throw those like through anything. Jezabar, what's up? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Man, flip phones were the worst though. Remember so I remember when camera phones, not camera phones. I remember when phones went from like the black and white, like the Nokias, right, to like color and picture, right? And you just had like an 8-bit or 16-bit, right? And there was this phone, I think Sprint made it, and you could open it up and you could twist the phone like 180 degrees, and you could close it, and then the screen would be like face front. I I was flipping that phone so much that I snapped it in half on accident. I was like, oh no, this is a bad design. But it's funny to see where phones have evolution to. Like, have you seen the one that like it opens up to like a box? It looks like it's a really big screen. It's pretty crazy. You miss your BlackBerry though? Yeah, that was my wife had an OG BlackBerry. A lot of people like BlackBerry. Palm Pilot. Yeah, see, John knows what's up. Palm Pilot. See, like, look at like if you were around during this time, you would have thought Nokia and Palm Pilot and BlackBerry, you thought those companies would never go out, right? It's just it's interesting that if you don't innovate and you don't grow, right, you might not be a company. And I think it can be said for everything, right? Like crypto companies, blockchains. If you cannot keep building the community, and if you cannot keep updating with the times and the technology, like you might get left behind. So Yolanda says, is anyone as old as I am to remember Atari? So Atari, I think was I didn't have an Atari. Like my first system was a Nintendo, like OG Nintendo. Remember when the cartridges wouldn't work and you had to like blow on the cartridge and kind of bang it a bit and blow it, and then you put it back in, and then it would like sometimes work like that. I remember that. And then what was the big thing? Like N64. That was a big thing. I remember one year, and I was this chubby kid in like middle school. I had a lot of surgery when I was a kid, and my dad and mom separated when I was younger, and I had these big bone spurs that would grow on my legs, and they had to be surgically removed. There was nothing that they could do during this time. And so like I would spend 6 months, on the couch recovering from this, because this was in like the 80s and early 90s. And I got to be a big kid back then. But like I loved to play some games because I was at home a lot, in front of the TV. And so one year my mom had bought me an N64. And then since she didn't want me playing it in the, she wanted to watch Jeopardy and whatever people watched in the 90s. She got me this little 13-inch like VCR. It was a TV with a VCR. You guys remember those, right? There was like kind of a chubby thing. You could pick it up, you could walk it around. And I would carry that TV everywhere. And I would bring my N64 everywhere. And I used to, I used to battle my friends. And oh man, just bringing some good memories back. It's bringing some good memories back. Chipper says Frogger. I like that, man. I like that. James knows what's up, Yolanda. See, James says that was my first. What's up, Kame? I'm bringing you a couple bottles of the new batch. Gonna bring me some more hot sauce. Oh, here, did you see this? So when you get to 100,000 subscribers, YouTube allows you to buy a desk. Like this thing is heavy. Like hold on, here, check this out. Like listen to this. This is heavy. This is probably like 5 pounds. I don't know, maybe a little heavier. But this is for the desk, right? And so on the back, it says Crypto Sensei. But so I have the play button, and then I got this too. And so I appreciate you. Well, I'm going to see you on Saturday, right, Kame? And thank you for dinner the other night, man. That was good. Oh, Yolanda says Atari was so cool. I love the Space Impact game on the Nokia 3310. Oh man, we are going back in history right now. I like a lot of good memories are being shared here. I love this. Say Ray, you crazy. I like it though. I like it. You know what, Yolanda? That my parents are both, God, they were born in 48, so they're 77. So, you still got a long way to go. You still got a long way to go. Centipede was the sweet. Yeah. Man, I remember when I was a kid, like Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat game came out. That was really popular. And Street Fighter, then there was like Tekken. My brother was really good at Street Fighter. My brother was a national champion for Street Fighter back in the day. He was really good, man. He was really good. I looked up to that dude. That dude could game with the best of us. I'm eating to this to establish a legacy fund for my family. See, that's beautiful, man. See, that's beautiful. Like if we are not working hard right now to make sure that our family, whether it's our kids, or whether it's our pets or whatever it is, right? Like you're working to build a legacy right now. And that's the most important thing, right? You're doing something. There's a lot of people out there that choose to do nothing every day. And I think it's extremely powerful that the people that are, saying enough's enough, man. This system that we have grown accustomed to, that keeps us in these debt cycles, that keeps, these interest rates, these credit cards, astronomical levels that, strangle us with debt. If we can somehow get out of that system and have our own wealth, that we can not have to worry about, anything, right? I think that's what we're all trying to do, man. Say Ray's still in her 30s. Oh, that's congratulations. I wish I was still in my 30s. Oh man. Enjoy it, girl. Enjoy it. Ben King. What's up, Ben King? Thank you for all your videos. Very educational without trying to cause FOMO. Well balanced. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. I know sometimes my hyperness kind of gets a hold of me, but I appreciate you. Thank you, Ben. Suppression, fire, heart, heart. Love it. Love it. Love it. Curtis says, I'm in my 30s. Man, it must be nice, guys. It must be nice. All right. Enjoy it. Ruben's like, I'm 28. James like, I'm 44. See, like me and James, we're closer in age. Do you agree? Let's see. Do you agree with the amount of wallets is less than the total amount of holders, since most individuals have their own XRP on exchange or exchange wallet? Yeah, like whether there's supposed to be like 7 million wallets, but like a lot of people own multiple wallets. I mean, I have like 5 or 6 ledgers, some of them don't have very much at all on them, but some of them have a little bit. And then I have like my phone wallets. I have Mexi, XRP address. I have a Coinbase XRP address. So like, I don't think there's more than maybe like 2 or 3 million actual people in the world that own XRP. Luna, I see you. Don't be peeing on my mats now. Come here. Come on. I see you. Yes, I caught you. Come on, Sneaky. She's always trying to get up to no good. Yeah, I think there's probably only a few million people in the world that are like you, right? That see something with XRP, right? Everybody has kind of their own thing that they like. Some people are Chainlink fans, some people are HBAR fans, some people like XRP, and we're all rooting for it, man. We're all rooting for XRP. Jake's predictions vary from like 750 to 2000. So it depends what day of the week it is and how he's feeling, I guess, but it does change. Dude, Y2K was nuts. Does everyone remember Y2K, where you were? I could tell you exactly where I was, because like, I don't know if like my mom thought the world was going to end, but we decided to go to Cabo. We were in Cabo, San Lucas for when that happened in 2000, when it went from 1999 to 2000. I don't know why we wanted to be in Mexico, but we decided to take a trip. We were there for New Year's, and everyone thought the world was going to end. Remember that? That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy, man. And I want Jake to succeed, man. I want Jake to succeed more than you know. Like, I just don't get me wrong. I am not out here actively rooting against Jake. I want him I want his price predictions to come into effect. I'm just telling people that just because somebody extremely intelligent, extremely well connected says something doesn't mean that it's actually going to happen. Right. And I think we've seen that time and time again. So just, don't quit your job yet. Right. It hasn't happened yet. Wait for it to happen before you kind of make that. Because I saw a few people saying, I've already quit my job. I've already put in my notice. It's going to 1,000. And like, I worry deeply for those people. Right. And I worry about all you. I want all of us to do well. Motorola beeper, man. You remember the pager code? Remember the pager code? Oh, dude, like it was a whole different language, I could read all of those, man, that's taking me back too. The beeper. See, a lot of remembers the beeper. Simmons. What did Simmons make? Was it phones? I can't even remember, man. Your husband had an Atari and had an original Nintendo. Smart man for keeping that stuff. Smart man. Oh my goodness. What was that? Yeah, we had like the sidekicks. Remember the sidekicks where the screen flipped out and you like screen would flip back down? Those were so cool, man. Those were ahead of their time. Sega Genesis. Oh yeah, Sega Genesis. Sonic. What was the code? It was like up, down, left, right, A and B at the same time. There was some code, right? I can't remember what game it was. Maybe it was Sonic, or maybe it was like Mario. You could pick a level or whatever. Up, down, left, right, A and B start at the same time. I can't remember what code it was, man. Oh, now I'm actually interested. What code was for a game that was up, down, left, right, A and B at the same time? Am I tripping? Did I remember that correctly? Hold on. Let's see. It was Konami, right? It was Konami. Okay, hold on. Let's pull this up here. Up, down, left, right, A and B refers to the Konami code, one of the most famous cheat codes in history, originally popularized by Contra. That's what it was. Contra on the NES. 1986. What a good year. It's kind of crazy, the strangest things you remember from when you're like a kid, Sonic on Sega Genesis. That was the game, man. That was so fun. You've tested positive for XRP. Help? I don't think you need help. I think you're now one of us. I have no idea how I came across this live, but I'm loving it here. Ben, well, welcome, man. Welcome. We got seals. We got Mickey Mandalorians. That's from Apex Legends. So I don't even know what you call that, man, but glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. The original Game Boy. Oh my goodness. What was the favorite game on Game Boy though? Like, was it Pokemon or was it Tetris? What was the best game on Game Boy? Oh man, you're going to send me into a whole thing. Yeah, 007 was definitely the best game, Andy, 100%. 100%. Like when I told the story of carrying the TV and having my N64 and 4 controllers ready to go, that was the game I busted out, 007. And I would run circles around people, like instead of going straight at them, you tilt your joystick to the side and then you do circles as you shoot. And so people would have a hard time shooting you. Oh, dude, man, so fun. StarCraft. That came a little bit later, but that was a good game. So was like I had an ex-girlfriend that loved it was like Game of Thrones. No, it's not Game of Thrones. Excuse me. It was Lord of the Rings. There was like a Lord of the Rings open like RPG game. Like that's all she played. Then I played was it like Warcraft? Was it Warcraft? Man, I don't know. There's a lot of games. Oh, you know what was a fun game? What was that game where it was like you got to pick like the Brits, or you picked a civilization and then you fought other civilizations, and like Brits had longbows and like the Persians had the elephants, and oh, that game was so fun. I remember being like 14 years old or 15 years old. I didn't have a car yet. Like I was right about to get my license, and I was home a lot. And like I was playing that game for like 10 hours a day. Mike Tyson Punch Out. Yeah, that was an OG game too. It was like Duck Hunt, right? That was just something that you had, man. I still look like I'm in my 30s. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll just say that I'm still in my 30s for everybody here. Okay. No, nobody needs to know. Duchess of Elements. Great to see you. How you doing? Welcome. Crypto Pete says his biggest bags are XRP, Zbic, and crypto.com. Love to hear that, man. Those are some good choices. I know a lot of people some people like Zbic, some people don't. Crypto.com, obviously. What's been going on in crypto.com lately? I haven't been paying close attention. I know that was really big like the last cycle, and they built their chain, right? And people like were developing. I don't know how it is recently, but nice, man. Wishing you all the success. Do you have any good info on XLM? What do you consider good info? Like, is XLM? I think when you're talking about bridging the gap between unbanked and retail payments, I think Stellar is probably one of the better companies in the crypto space doing that. I think if Stellar didn't hire Danelle Dixon, I think they'd be in more trouble. She's been incredible. You know, she's been a real leader. Not saying like Jed McCaleb wasn't a good, whatever. I just don't think like he was a really smart tech bro. But you needed like somebody that could go into a boardroom and people would take extremely seriously. And I think that's who they found with Danelle Dixon. And so, Stellar is reshaping how retail moves money, and it's very, very important. Yeah, he bet somebody named Scams. Was this guy named Scams? I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading his name right, but I thought his name is like Scams. I think he bet like 4,000 XRP or something like that, 4,300. If I don't know, something like that. Oh my God, I got to catch up to the chat. I feel like I'm getting lost in the chat here. I do apologize. Let me go down here. Zelda. Somebody brought up Zelda. That was a good game. Tetris, good game. Was this a game? Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2? Let me see this. Yakuza Kiwame 1. What is this? Oh, I remember this. I remember this title here. I remember seeing this. I don't think I ever played it though. You know what was one of my favorite games of all time? Oh, Final Fantasy 7. Oh, 7. Final Fantasy 7. I mean, obviously they just did a remake, but this was the game that like stole my life, right? Like I was playing this game so much, man. Oh, they just don't make games like this anymore, I don't think. This was one of the funnest games that I ever played, Final Fantasy 7. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. That was the game, bro. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. What's the weather there? It's probably like 80. No, it's probably it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me see here. What's the weather like? It's probably sunny. 82. It's 82. High of 84. Low of 76. That is the weather I have for this week. It's between 76 and 84 or 74 and 83 every day. That's the one benefit of living in Hawaii. Well, there's a lot of benefits, right? Tax, not so much, but like people, food, weather, got everything. Original Halo. Whoa, we're getting into it. Trump bought billions of Crow. Did he? Cannot buy billions of Crow. I don't know if that's accurate. Right? Because like the Trump family doesn't have billions of dollars to spend on crypto.com. Let's just, you know, it's not that I don't believe that, but does the Trump family own any Crow? If so, how much? Let's just take a look here. I like to get the exact stuff here. Trump family technology group owns Kronos, the native crypto.com, $105 million worth. So not billions, maybe $105 million worth. Aims to the Trump media legacy family ultimate control up to 6.3 billion. Oh, so they bought billions of tokens. That makes sense. Wait, worth an estimated 1.2 billion. So they haven't bought it. They have plans to. Roughly 2% of Crow's current market capitalization. And they aim to accumulate. So okay, so really quickly, let's just, you know, we need to understand this. So saying that you're going to do something and actually doing it are two different things, right? So their plan is to buy that much, but until they do it, you know, like there's one thing in crypto, one thing that I've learned the hard way is people will tell you what crypto has no shortage of people telling you what you want to hear. Very, very rarely do people follow through on everything that they're telling you. And I'm talking about roadmaps, promises to the community, technology. You know, I can't tell you how many times somebody has just completely sold, you know, wolf tickets, you know, basically just selling air, right? Telling you that we're going to do all of these incredible things. And a month goes by, and 2 months goes by, and 5 months goes by, and those things never come to fruition. So just understand that people are always going to tell you something that you want to hear in the crypto space. Wait until they actually deliver on those promises before you start believing it. I've seen it so many times. Danelle Dixon is a mama like three. She's so inspirational, man. She's an incredibly smart lady. Like she's like Stellar is lucky to have a person of that caliber showing up every day and expanding the business. Like you could see Stellar's growth after she joined. Like I think Stellar would have been a little bit in trouble without her vision and without her jumping in. I think they're very lucky to have her. Jet Li. Oh man, PlayStation 2. I don't really ever played it, but I remember the name. They bought 605 billion crypto.com today. Let's see. But like, hold on. Today, it's up 31%. So it went from 16 cents to 20 cents. 24-hour trading volume, 745 million. Let me see if I can. Trump Media Group, Crypto.com strategy to acquire 6.42 billion Crow digital asset treasury. I mean, this is big for Crow holders. Very big for Crow holders. Congratulations to anybody holding Crow. This is going to be a really big deal. That's awesome, man. I love to hear people winning. Pete, I bet you're happy, Pete. I bet you are happy, Pete. We'll have to see like how much money they actually commit to it though, right? Like You just got to see, man. You just got to see. Just got to let it play out. Cardano. So from what I understand is that Charles Hodgkinson and David Schwartz have been, like they say a lot of nice things about each other. And I think when you look at the crypto space, those are probably two of the smartest people in the crypto space, in my personal opinion. You could have a different opinion, but I think, Charles Hodgkinson sees a lot of the dedication from the XRP army, and he wants to be a part of that. He wants to figure out ways to collaborate. And I think you're going to hear more about that in the future. And we've been talking about ADA, right? Like, how many times have I told you guys start acquiring ADA? Like, we were talking about this when ADA was, hold on, where is that? It's 86 cents right now, right? Let's go back a month. Let's go back a year. This is up 134%, right? Obviously the best time to buy of this when it was, 30 cents, but anyone had the opportunity to buy ADA right in here, right? This is middle of the year, 50 cents, 58 cents. Right in this area, I was telling people, I'm buying ADA, I'm buying ADA, I'm buying ADA, I'm buying ADA. Even here, I'm telling people, buying ADA. I think ADA, you'll see ADA do some pretty big moves here. Hold on, I wasn't sharing the right screen. I do apologize. Let me share this. So here's ADA. Like, obviously the best time to buy ADA would have been like back here, right? Or like if you could have bought ADA like when it was on the ground here at 24 cents or something in 2023, that was the best time. But realistically, like right in here, June, July, just 2 months ago, right? I was telling people, this is where I'm buying ADA. I'm buying ADA. I think ADA will be several dollars here. I think ADA will be several dollars. Yeah, Yolanda, I'm getting a little tired here too. We've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and usually by like 4:30 in the afternoon, I am whacked. So let's do this, guys. Listen, thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate all the mods, Ariana, Curtis, OSOK. Thank you for everybody that shows up and spends this time. Christopher Bergen, thank you so much. And then everybody that comes in and spends some time and shares their stories, and it's all inspiration. And just want to say it is an honor and it's a privilege to be on this journey with you. And whether you spend 5 minutes on the channel a week, five minutes a month, or if you spend hours on the channel per day, thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me be a part of your life. It's very impactful for me. Thank you for the donations that we got today. Darius Palmer gave 50. I can't remember the currency. I do apologize. I think it's anyways. Henry gave $20, and then OSOK gave $10 for snacks for Luna. Thank you guys so much. And remember, Friday, I'm going to have the founder of Meta inside here. Please show up for that. I think it's going to be extremely impactful to have him here and go through his vision and his dream for the crypto space. I'll see you guys all on Friday. We're going to start at the regular time, 3:30 PST. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Aloha.